Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? It's Martin Lopez, and today is day 7 of my, let me go this way, make it look a little bit better. How you doing? Martin Lopez, and today is day 7 of my 31-day challenge. So I've challenged myself and a couple friends to do Facebook Live videos for 31 days. Today's day 7, so I'm down a week. If you notice, I'm real flush, and it's because I'm doing a niacin cleanse. I just did 12,000 steps at the beach down at Pacific Beach, and what I do is about the last 4,000 or 5,000 steps, what I do is I pop this like niacin pill, and it makes me all flush. It gets me all really red, and then it's really just a great mental cleanse. It helps my brain, and I can use all the help I can get, right? It's really cool. I don't recommend doing it for everybody, but it's a very, very cool thing. So today we're going to talk about emotional intelligence, okay? So that's the thing. That's our topic tonight, emotional intelligence. And what emotional intelligence is, it's the capacity to be aware, to control, and to express your emotions, and also to handle interpersonal relationships with empathy and with good judgment. So it's our ability. It's how we communicate, and are we communicating in a way that's empathetic, and are we using good judgment when we're talking? So, I've had plenty of chances to practice this because I'm in the business, in the mortgage business, and I work with a lot of really cool real estate agents. And on the other side, sometimes we get some people that are not so easy to deal with. Recently, I was in a transaction, and I had a real estate agent. So there were 2 real estate agents involved. So I represented as a loan officer, I represented the buyer that was buying this condo. And then there was the real estate agent that I knew really, really well. And then there was another real estate agent that was representing the seller. Well, that agent wasn't, the agent representing the seller wasn't doing a very good job. And matter of fact, they were doing a really bad job, and the seller wanted to pull out. The agent that was representing the buyer, like I said, was a good friend of mine, and she was doing the best job that she can, but then she was making up a lot of stories about what she thought the seller was doing, what she thought that the seller and the seller agent were doing. And my suggestion was to not make up stories. Let's not make up anything. Let's not make up a story about this person. Let's just find out. Let's curiously investigate and see what's going on. Well, through that process, she got upset in that process. I said something in a way that she felt like I was was being demeaning, or I was being rude to her. So, and then she said something back to me. Now, what she said back to me was an absolute reaction. So what happened was, so I said something to her. Okay, I'm going to talk about my experience, okay, because I don't know what her experience is. I only know what my experience is, okay? So I said something, then she said something back to me. So what happened is she said something to me, right? And then there was the reaction. My reaction could be either negative or positive, right? So what I did is what I normally do. I don't walk away from a good argument. I usually engage. And so it wasn't pleasant. It was, I said something, and I stand my ground, and I don't like to be insulted, and that's not an excuse. That's not what we're talking about today, is our ability to want to be insulted or not. It's our ability to apply emotional intelligence. So when I saw what I did, when I saw that I did what I did, I needed to stop. I needed to stop, and apply a different strategy, because that strategy only upset her. And now she was clearly upset. She was trying to get off the phone, and she was now it was escalating. It was going up a little bit more. And so now so what's happening now is we're escalating, right? And then she then has a reaction, and then I have a reaction. So I have an opportunity to react negatively or positively. Let me grab my thing. So what we're going to talk about, what we're all about here, is being able to create a gap here between what happened. The curiosity theory is about creating a gap and widening the gap between what happened and what our reaction is going to be. And as a matter of fact, we want to move away from reactions, and we want to move toward a response. So we want to respond, okay? So we don't want to react, we want to respond, okay? So now I'm going to move out of that reptilian mode, which is that fight or flight mode, right? And I'm engaged. Like I said, I did what I normally do. I don't walk away from a good argument, right? And so that's the reaction. That's my reaction. That's my knee-jerk reaction. So then it escalated, right? It got a little heated, and now it's time for me to respond to what she's doing, what she's saying, which it means widening the gap. I want to widen the gap, the space between what's happening and how I'm now responding. So what I do in response is the first thing that you want to do is take a breath. Just notice what's going on. Now, why do you want to take a breath? Well, think about this. When we're fighting, when we're engaged, we breathe shallow. We're breathing. We're not breathing a lot. So, in order for me to move out of my reptilian reaction, okay, whether I want to or not, okay, and why I'm saying whether we want to or not, because oftentimes I find for myself I don't want to, and people I'm talking to don't want to. They want to stay up. They want to stay in the fight because we want to win the fight, right? And it's like at all costs. So what happens is when we breathe, now what we're doing is we're causing oxygen inside of our brain, inside of our body, and we calm ourselves down. And then we're moving out of that reptilian, and then we then have the opportunity to engage our higher reasoning center. So a lot of people ask, is this psychological? And I try to tell people, no, it's biological, because what's triggered is what triggers you is the words and all that. But what's engaged is our body, is our physical body. So let's disengage our physical body and then disengage our reptilian brain and go into our higher reasoning center. So then I call it take the ABC pause. Acknowledge what I'm feeling. Breathe, A, and then B is breathe, and then choose curiosity. So what I did is I chose curiosity, and I said, Janet, I'm curious. Can you tell me what I said and how that came across? And she said, it sounded like you were telling me that I was stupid. And rather than tell her that's not what I said, I said, I can see that. I can see it sounded that way. And I asked her, Janet, how did that make you feel? And she said, that made me feel angry. I said, I got it. I feel the same way when people make me feel stupid or when people accuse me of being stupid. Is there anything else? And she said, no, that's it. I said, can I apologize? And she said, yes. And I said, Janet, I apologize. I apologize for saying something. I apologize for making you feel stupid. And she started to laugh. And she said, you really didn't make me feel stupid. I reacted and I made myself feel stupid. And then we then had a great conversation, and then we turned it all around. So the curiosity theory, and that's using the curiosity theory. That's using what we have in the curiosity theory. I should probably just like tape this right here. I'll do that next time, right? Just tape that right there. But what the curiosity theory is about relationships and about engaging in relationships, and whether whether the relationship is positive or the relationship is negative. It's very, very important to be aware of what's going on in a relationship, and then if it goes south, know how to turn it around. And curiosity turns it around every single time. The reason why is if you're truly being curious. I'm not talking about like this kind of curious where I'm going to ask you a question and this is the answer. I'm going to ask you a question and this needs to be the answer. That's not curiosity, that's manipulation. Or a lot of people use NLP and they're trying to get a specific response. That's not curiosity, that's NLP. Curiosity is really and truly being connected and being curious. That what happens then is that we move into that thing we call the progressive cycle, right? So we're curious, What happens next out of curiosity, about it being curious, is that people feel safe. Right? Think about that. If you're being curious, and someone's being curious to you, doesn't it feel safe? Like, I can share because this person's being open, right? Create safety and respect. How do you feel safety? I'm not a very good speller. So safety and respect, right? And when people feel safety and respect, what they're going to do is they're going to do this cool thing, which is called risk. They're going to start to risk because it's safe to communicate. So I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to take a chance. And then I'm going to say what I want to say, and I'm going to engage and be open. So I said, Janet, can you tell me what I said? And I was curious, can you tell me what I said? And she told me what I said. She said, this is what you said. And I said, you know, we talked about that, like how he made you feel. And I was really curious. I was really curious what I did. Like, what did I do? I was wondering. I couldn't tell. Because for me, I was ready to argue. Listen, you took it wrong, and I can do that. I can go to fisticuffs with somebody verbally, mentally, physically. I can do that. But where does that get us? Where does that get us when we're doing that? Do we want to do that? Do we want to like argue with people that way? Or do we want to restore love and human connection? I wanted to restore love and human connection. So I applied curiosity. It was then safe and respectful. And then there was risk. And then we then had a great conversation. So curiosity is a very, very important part of emotional intelligence. When you apply curiosity, it's much easier to employ and apply emotional intelligence because it's obvious. When we're being curious, we're really looking, and we're looking for feelings, and we're looking for needs. So I hope this helps you in your personal life, in your business life, and everything out there. And if there's anything I can do for you, please reach out. Martine Lopez with the Curiosity Theory. And I got a special gift for you on the bottom of this feed. I have a link to my book, The Curiosity Theory. It's the audio for the book, and I'm going to leave it here for a little while. So, but download the audio and find out about my course, and love to just, get you engaged and all that. So thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.